Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone it is, wherever you in the world, it is your Lore Saviour, and unlike a lot of these sort of walk and talks out in the wilderness as I walk my dogs, I don't really have much of an intention with this one. Usually there's like a theme and a moral and a story, or at least my subjective biased opinions on things that we can learn or completely ignore. But this time round, I just have something that's on my mind that I just want to ramble and waffle away, and it's nothing that anyone has done per se, it's nothing bad that a company has done. This is purely some thoughts that I have had, and I just want to share, because apparently doing YouTube videos is a lot more beneficial to my mental health than seeking fucking therapy. So, if this is going to help you, great. If not, I hope you enjoy me as I'm out and about on this particularly sunny day in May, the penultimate day in May, no less. Walking my dog Emma, who is taking a sweet ass fucking time, pretending that she doesn't want to be out here, but I know deep down she really loves it because you're all excited leaving. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Yesterday, the 29th of May 2025, in the year of our Lord Talos, I made a post on trigger warning blue sky, and I'm mentioning that not because I think it's particularly problematic, but there's some of you who have gotten kind of sensitive recently over posting things on blue sky, and I suspect that it's the right-wing asshats amongst you, which I think is kind of funny that you watch a very vocal left-wing, queer, disabled, autistic TTRPG person and think that I'm here for you. But regardless, I'm mentioning blue sky. I'm going to show a screenshot from blue sky, so if that's going to be triggering or upsetting for you, you can just go away. But for those of you who had the brain cells to look after yourself properly, it's this post here, where basically I had this weird moment of realisation that a lot of the TTRPG characters I have been playing and have ideas for potential games have all been female presenting, which I personally think is a little bit odd, because I genuinely do not play or run characters in the past that have been genders outside of my own. I use the pronouns he, him. I'm a cis white male. I don't want to say that with too much confidence, because one, I lack confidence in general as a human being, and you sort of paint a picture, the sort of people that are proud of their bits and pieces, that I'm not going to say, because I know what one asshat's going to try and take that out of context, but you get what I'm trying to say. And I shared this with my partner, and they gave a sort of similar sort of response that you can read here. I can't exactly remember the exact wording, but just, it was rudely accurate. Sort of mirroring the parts of my own life. No, I'm not trans before you get all worked up about that. Just things I'm not prepared to talk to right about now. And then, round about that time period, I had this comment from somebody that had left on a recent video where I was talking about a funny and embarrassing encounter that I had purchasing a copy of the Maid TTRPG. Just a little reminder that it wasn't strange just exploring different emotions and avenues when playing role-playing games on any level. And that's kind of what I'm wanting to talk about, really. Just, why do I think this weird? And, I don't know, just sort of challenging some of the stigma that I have about that in the hopes to helping some of you out, because I think it sort of made me have a change of heart or a redevelopment of some areas of the TTRPG experience. I feel some of that stems from the fact that I am a British bloke, and well, just a bloke in general basically, and displaying any sort of like your stereotypical feminine traits. So basically having a bit more of an outward expression of emotions and being an emotional, sentimental sort is not manly, it's not masculine. And in an older time you'd be called gay. I'm pretty sure that run rampant still, which might confuse some of you, I guess, because you've just heard me say that I'm bisexual. Surely I'd be quite proud of that, and I am, very much so. But I have been a closeted son of a gun for quite some time, and it's very difficult for me to express myself with more sensitive emotions and personal things because of that. And the last time I did that on YouTube was regarding my autism, and there was a good chunk of you that took the piss, which it was to be expected, but oh boy, some of those comments were particularly vile. Which is not nice at all, really. For me, this was further perpetuated that I went to a middle-class, all-boys school, and I'm very much lower class, I was very much left-wing then as well. Everyone was pretty much right-wing. Right-wing. Although, to be said, there was only one black kid in my entire year at school, so take that what you will. Whereas I excelled with music and audio production, which might not surprise some of you given what we're doing right now, all the successful and cool kids did, funny enough, physics, maths and engineering. You know, the proper career paths, the proper jobs. I think that's really the only sort of setting where you'll put maths and cool together. So that's sort of become very difficult for me just on that aspect. And on top of that, I'm autistic, which makes expressing one's emotions and interpreting things a fucking nightmare in of itself, which again, might surprise you. Because, you know, I'm a fucking YouTuber. Surely that sort of thing would be difficult for me. In a sense, yeah. Like trying to find an identity and just over the years changing things, because that's something else that I struggle with. Change is bad. I'm not too sure how things are going to react. And I'm always nervous and sometimes borderline afraid of making mistakes, not coming across as perfect or as the best that I can be, which is deep-rooted in some traumas that continue throughout my life, which I suppose I will touch upon, the perfection thing, not the rest of my childhood traumas. And all of this is perpetuated by the rise of social media and, I don't know, the capitalization of the internet as a marketing device, where everything has to be pristine and perfect all the time. There's a little side thing, it's kind of why I like memes a lot of the time, because the quality is just so fucking low ass. Just the contrast, it's a nice bit of fresh air sort of thing. Now there's an interesting cyberpunk horror idea for you. In a world of cleanliness and pristine quality, humanity can be found in the filth in the air as well. That's not fucking cyberpunk at this point, that's just fucking 2025 anyway. And having to present yourself in a certain way and fit into societal norms, like, just going back a little bit about what this originally was about, you know, me wanting to play girl characters in video games. As a bloke, I'm seen with one or two things. A fucking creep who's just like fetishizing the women body, or just a fucking weirdo. I remember Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out, and I had Pearl as a birthday present and Christmas. Well, it was birthday or Christmas, because for me they're right next to each other. And I chose the female character canonically known as Dawn, just because I like the design better, and I thought, fuck it, why not? I remember when people saw that, they looked fucking horrified. Like I had just dropped my trousers and just shat in front of them. Obviously it had some bad effect on me because I'm able to recall it so clearly. But that all really shouldn't be things I should be worrying about. As a nearly 30-year-old man in 2025, where we're beginning to understand and appreciate that societal norms and the construct of genders is a complete construct to control people far more than cattle. It's really something I shouldn't be worrying about. But that just comes back to the thing about making mistakes and how on social media you can be misinterpreted in one of many ways through text or with an actual play. Like, it only just takes one person to say that you're being offensive and then your ass is cancelled. Or attempt to, because nobody really gets cancelled on social media. It's just, in some experiences, complete dogpiling of somebody who made a genuine mistake, which I say from experience. But then you also have some people who do make really fucking stupid decisions and they double down on said stupidity, like, I don't know, the CEO of By Night Studios, and what was the name of the TTRPG actual play group? It's like Tabletop Horrors or something like that. Tabletop something or another, but it was a V5 actual play, and they were all playing Kuei-Jin in V5, and the guy who was running it sort of said it was alright because he lived in Japan or China for a few years and his partner's Asian, which is not really a great bit of an excuse in researching. And sure, if you're wanting to play TTRPG characters from cultures, backgrounds and other ideas that you're not familiar with, you should absolutely be doing your research to portray things as authentically as you can. But if you make a mistake, you should always be allowed to apologise and to do better and not have people fucking dogpile with things, which is also perpetuated that we're currently in a day of misinformation where things can be taken out of context and it becomes a popularity contest about which one of them seems more legit based on how they interact with people, and their clever use of screenshot and photo editing and just leaving out important bits of details really, which is a very shitty thing to do indeed, which I've seen and have been a part of as well. So it can be very fucking difficult for all of this to happen. Gee, I wonder why I don't like being a TTRPG player as much as a games master. I mean, that's one part of it, but another part of it, I've talked in a video before, in my why you should do solo TTRPG playing. I sort of get a bit impatient, really. Not in a bad sense, it's just I like to make characters that are able to progress the story through, and perhaps it's to do with my autism, perhaps it's to do with some other facts I'm not aware of. I don't really interact with the groups and NPCs as much as unless I particularly want to, or they're connected to me. I suppose it is an autistic thing because just the concept of socialising and interacting with strangers and then putting on another social mask and behaving a certain way when you're already aware that you are talking very differently to people and thinking and processing things. It's a fucking miracle I'm able to get anything done, really, isn't it? And I do enjoy running games, honestly, and I do enjoy being a player. It's just I find it very difficult because of all these sort of emotional things, because of society, how we do and don't do things. And I think it's a real shame that I also see this with other people, that people want to play certain character concepts, but they feel put off because they feel they're going to upset or offend people. And get the fuck off my arm, you little cheeky bug. Sorry for that. And running things as a games master is very stressful, you know, with all the planning and organisational stuff. But in this day and age, I feel it can become a bit of a minefield having anything that's remotely problematic, because it paints you as a particularly awful individual. And if you pay attention to any of the fucking videos that I've ever done, and also with how this fucking video started, I don't generally consider myself to be an unpleasant person. I try to be as inclusive as I can, but I run a lot of horror games. And a load of really fucked up shit happens in horror, I don't know if you know. And part of horror experiences is taking away player agency. Now, I know that's quite a controversial thing, you know, the lack of player agency, which I suppose feeds into some safety tool stuff as well, because, again, huge fucking advocate of, you know, consenting gaming, which basically should just come down to find a means that works for you and what is and isn't okay. And any bits and pieces that you need to help facilitate that, you do it. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Just don't force people to do things that they don't want to do, to the point where it's upsetting them, because again, horror, lack of agency, etc. and so forth. But if you don't care for any of that, just fucking go with it. You'll find a group that satisfies your needs. And, you know, to connect us to the World of Darkness, I think it was a year or so ago now, I purchased the Giovanni Chronicles, quite a chunky Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. You play through characters associated with the Giovanni. It's quite a famous thing within the World of Darkness. I'm not going to go through all of it now, but it goes through the eras, like through hundreds of years, and it gets increasingly racist, because a lot of it then moves over to America and it starts off in Europe during the Dark Ages, so that introduces a whole other hodgepodge of issues that are culturally inappropriate. And I had the idea once of like doing like an actual plaything with some people for that, because that would be fun. Like just record them on Discord and upload them on my YouTube channel, make all the graphics and whatnot look real pretty. But I don't think I could do that because of the insensitive material in there, especially with the last part that happens in 1920s Boston, I want to say. So basically, like a mini fucking Call of Cthulhu thing, but with vampires. Well, ghouls, technically. And I feel people just take offence to that. And I'd have to downplay things to such an extent where you're not really getting a feel for the vibe and the horror of it. And also, I'm a white British man, and that doesn't help things either. So it's kind of really difficult to do anything without being perceived as a villain in one sense or another. And I kind of feel what this is all leading, to be honest, where I started off doing this bit of a rambling video thinking about why do I just feel weirded out, you know, wanting to play female presenting characters, because I think people are going to be offended one way or another, or have the potential to be offended one way or the other. One, because I'm a guy pretending to be a woman, or I say I'll do something that isn't very womanly and accidentally tread into men writing women territory, which I would never intentionally do. It just makes me very nervous and kind of puts me off playing. Not so much running games, because again, there's that leniency that games masters have to have all sorts of people involved. as a player, really makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. I was also reading a Wraith the Oblivion story module thing within the book Dark Kingdom of Jade Adventures, which has a load of adventures of Wraith characters within the world of darkness to play in mostly China. But there's one of them that centres around the bomb site of Hiroshima, I believe it is, Nagasaki. I can't quite remember, and it's really bad that I don't remember that. Basically the nuke site that America drops on Japan. And I used to think that was quite a crass thing, but there's actually quite a lot of valid means of exploration for some players to explore, and the horrors of war, you know, that grand mistake that Oppenheimer did, well, mistake, you know, how it changed the course of the human race forever. And I used to think that would be quite crass, and from memory, it's not the best written thing in the world, but I probably should go and revisit that sometime. And yeah, this is also me who loves the Fallout setting and post-apocalyptic settings, which is kind of a real threat for a lot of people right now if you're worrying about what Russia is going to do with Ukraine, what Russia could do to the rest of the world, what America could do in response to all of that. It's something that I worry about quite a lot as well, and yet we play and we enjoy post-apocalyptic scenarios as a horror, as a means of weird escapism of the horrors of the real world, and especially with the direction of Fallout now, with Bethesda's sort of like glammed up 90s 50 aesthetic, which again was kind of a big scare at the time. Kind of makes me a bit of a hypocrite, doesn't it? Which again, I say, it's just daft, because role-playing games, you can be whoever and whatever you want to be, providing it fits with the setting. And yet, we have such an environment in and out of the TTRPG scene where mistakes are punished by witch hunts, and just makes certain people nervous because they want to try and explore different themes and emotions side of themselves that they wouldn't be able to do otherwise. It's meant to be a form of escapism, and despite people pushing that in comments whenever I do something that is remotely woke or just wanting to include people and to be safe and happy, you know, it's just real shitfest, honestly. Like, you've got dickheads on both sides of the spectrum, which isn't to say that I'm a centralist, because they're fucking pussy cowards that tend to lean to the right anyway, but it's just I'm doing the best that I can, and I don't think anything that I'm doing is good enough, both in the TTRPG scene and just general, to be honest, which again goes back to feeding in that fear that I have of making mistakes, being perceived as perfect all the time. And even when I'm walking around with this, I know there's going to be moments where the wind has caught the mic on my phone a bit too much and makes too much noise, and that's going to annoy me, but we're just going to have to live with that. So if we're to take away any sort of meaningful message within this fat-ass waffling, it's that have fun, do your absolute best not to feel pressured into doing something that you don't want to do. Like, express yourself how you want to express yourself, which I know for a fair amount of you is borderline dangerous within your home environment, and find your means of escapism as and when needed and however is safe and best for you. But also with tabletop role-playing games, if that's the best way that you can do it, then go for that. Or if you're somebody like me that just wants to play somebody that's at the opposite presenting sex, just do your absolute best, and if you're with a right group of people, they'll understand that you're doing your best to make an authentic character, and cultures and disability and all the rest of it. And if not, well, it's certainly not worth your time, which is something that I try to do now a lot more with my games mastering. Try to ignore the plight of social media a lot more, but it doesn't always work, for sure. Because this sort of thing isn't easy, and I don't want to pretend that it is. I think if you've listened all the way through, you can kind of tell just how difficult and stressful I am finding all of this, and just life in general, I guess. And I don't even know if this is the intended direction of my waffling, but here we are, I guess. But it ain't easy. You just sort of need to, if you want to do that sort of thing, you just sort of got to do it, and do it for the best. And as I said, if you're the right group of people, they're going to understand that you're trying to do something authentic, and you're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. Your mum makes mistakes. You know, as perfect as she is, we all fuck up. Just got to do our best and just try and have fun however's best for us. with or without the need of safety tools and all the rest of it. Just have fun. That's what it is at the end of the day. And I should have to try and stop beating myself up too much and just have fun with my Maid TTRPGs, my female presenting characters, and if I want to play fucking teenage girls and explore more feminine emotions that I usually have to keep all locked up, then I should just fucking do it. And before anybody asks, no, I don't think this is the start of some sort of transsexual awakening. Although if that happens in the future, we can have a look at this video and laugh together. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share this video if you think it's going to help somebody. And subscribe to the Lore by Night channel if you want to see more stuff like this and the more usual horror stuff that I do. And I'll see you on the next upload, whatever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell.